Welcome to All Pro Football Data. My name is Jim Coburn, and today's episode, we're talking about Brennan Jackson, edge rusher from Washington State, based on his production data profile and other statistical factors. Brennan Jackson is one of the edge rushers that I've identified this season that is slept on, has very similar production traits and athleticism traits to Latu. Now, I'm not, again, making that one-to-one comparison to him, but in terms of his overall data profile, there's a lot of positives. So stay tuned until the end of the video where we go over his pro comparisons, and we're also going to go over what his overall outlook is going to be at the NFL level. So first off, starting with his defensive market share score. So this is the one area that is a little bit different compared to other evaluators as I look at defensive market share data. And based on those statistics, he had a 76th percentile solo tackle score, 88th percentile in terms of sacks, and 85th percentile, almost 86th percentile in terms of tackle for loss. Based on his overall market share data, he's squarely in the Pro Bowl potential area based on his overall data traits, so very positive market share data for him. And then, of course, when we get to his other market share data, like forced fumble market share, pass deflection market share, all those numbers as well are above average to average for his forced fumble market share. Then we get to athleticism traits. He had a 58th percentile explosion score, 78th percentile speed score, and 62th percentile flexibility score. All those areas are pretty much within the starter averages at the position. Doesn't quite have Pro Bowl athleticism overall, but does hit at least the numbers you're looking for in terms of starter potential. And then, of course, when you look at his adjusted production traits, taking a look at his age, his level of competition, and the team that he was on, and all those numbers here are very solid. If you look at the starter averages there, he's very much in line with the starter averages at the position based on his adjusted production traits. Doesn't quite have the Pro Bowl or All-Pro area for his data, but it's still a decent all-around production profile for him. Now, when you get to his pro comparisons, so as I stated at the very beginning of the video, these are all the edge rushers that tested similar to him based on his overall production traits. You can see Latu's in here, Brennan Jackson, Bobby McCray, Yannick is also in there as well in terms of his production traits. When you look at athleticism traits, he is kind of similar to Latu with the exception of flexibility. So he's a little less flexible compared to Latu. But I think Bobby McCray would probably be the best sort of pro comparison for Brennan Jackson based on his explosiveness, speed, and flexibility testing. Or Smoot as well would be another player that might be similar to him from that kind of perspective. But it's not a bad all-around athleticism profile. It's just not elite. And that's kind of the biggest thing that's kind of hurt him a little bit is because of those issues right there. But overall, not a bad sort of list to be on here. I mean, a lot of them are backups, but there are some starters. There are some Pro Bowlers here and there that I think he's closer to a starter, though, based on his data. Overall outlook, I would say Brennan Jackson profiles as a backup to starter long-term. He's a discount version of Latu, but has very similar data, data project score, a projected data score. I would consider Jackson a very underrated edge rusher in a very weak class. So for the most part, Brennan Jackson in any other class would be sort of like a fourth round, maybe late third round prospect based on his overall data profile. But in the draft class that we have right now, this draft class right here, he's probably going to go a little bit higher in this class considering the issues in terms of the overall depth of the class. So he is identified as a top 5 edge rusher in this class based on his overall data profile. Is he going to be the 5th edge rusher taken or in that sort of range? Yes and no. It kind of depends how you look at it, but I think he's underrated. I think there's a lot of positives to him. I think when you look at his film, he has very good hand usage, able to shed blocks very well on film. Obviously not the biggest player ever, but I think if he was to go to a team that was more so like a 3-4 outside linebacker team, I think he would do well in that sort of scheme. But overall, that's Brennan Jackson based on his overall data profile. And check out these videos right here as well, or right here. And also check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/jcoburn. Also, check out my formerly known as Twitter account at Geometrics to follow more of my work. And stay tuned for the 2024 NFL Draft Analytics Guide that is going to be dropping very, very, very soon. I'm very excited about it, and I hope you guys are able to get a copy of it because this is the best guide that I've made in the last 9 years of making these guides. And there's a lot of information in there. There's a lot of things that I think this is the first year in particular where the data matched up with the consensus. And because of that, I feel very good about the data guide now. So essentially what I can say is I don't even have to watch the film, and I'm grading these players the exact same as a film scout would. I'm not saying that's exactly 100% accurate, but it's pretty darn close. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.